Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
This is Carlos Brown, letting you know that we're on the move. You can now catch the Carlos Brown Show beginning this July on the Black College Sports Network each and every Saturday from 11 to 1 Eastern Time. That's 10 to 12 Central Time. Same time, new place. On Facebook at the Carlos Brown Show and Black College Sports Network. Online at www.mybcsn.net and on the BCSN app available on Google Play and the Apple App Store.
Q Time is a classic Atlanta soul food restaurant located in the historic West End. Q Time Soul Food is a family business started by Fred and Christine Crenshaw. Come on in, relax, and sink your chops into our tantalizing, mouth-watering, distinctive soul food with a twist, the Q Time way. 1120 Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard, or call your order in at 404-758-2881. Do you miss your mama's cooking? Then come on down to Q Time, an Urban Passport member.
Bounty versus the old family dish towel. Drying with a fresh sheet of Bounty leaves your hands cleaner than a used dish towel that can carry and redistribute food residue. So ditch the dish towel for better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
Let's get back to getting ticks instead of watching flicks. Before we can safely get out there, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your crew.
Into these colleges, and we have to fund our kids in these colleges, and we have to make sure our kids have seats in these colleges.
Now, what about HBCUs? You mentioned
absolutely. You got to fund them all, and you've got to make sure they're properly funded. You know, the real reason why I went after Comcast and Charter, it didn't have anything to do with my cable networks. It didn't. What happened was a gentleman wanted to do the Black College Sports Network in partnership with the HBCUs. And Comcast did not accept it. And that would have made a lot of money for these black colleges.
Absolutely.
And it would have educated the Black College Sports Network. This is what he wanted to do. That would have educated a lot of black kids. And when they didn't do that, that's when I came off the bench and said, okay, I'm going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Okay? That was the real reason why I got into it, was when I saw what happened with the Black College Sports Network, which I don't own. I just knew.
Why didn't you buy it?
I just knew. I just knew that these black.
I like that talk.
Right? I knew that these black colleges were going to benefit, and these black kids were going to get the education that they deserved and not have to pay. And that.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m.
Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
Oh, we've got a good thing going. Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock
in downtown Atlanta.
For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992.
Or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com.
For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant.
Authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
I'm returning to Clinton Paris, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
The Sweet and Smoky Salmon Rub infuses smoked black pepper with dehydrated maple syrup, pink Himalayan salt, ginger, thyme, mustard, and more to make a sweet, savory rub, perfect for salmon, trout, and other delicate seafood.
Some carriers will give you just one measly entertainment subscription. One is no fun. With Verizon, there's up to 7 entertainment subscriptions with your unlimited plan. That's 7 times the... 7 times the... No! 7 times the... Music, gaming, Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus, and more. That's 7 times the entertainment! Because everyone deserves better. And with plans starting at just $35, better costs less than you think.
For my people that don't get to see me, trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like the day is breezy. This motivation for the people, and this classic Bible teaching say, make this for my people that don't get to see me. Trying to remind you who you are, just like in Romans 3. See, we about to blow across the world just like the day is breezy. This motivation for the people, and this classic Bible teaching. Motivation.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show. Okay, welcome to another edition of the ONG Strike Zone. Brian Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, Kofi Hemingway, and we are here. Glad to be here. Good to see another day. Glad to be with you. So much has been going on over the past 7 days since we were last on the air. So as the post and the tweet said, we're going to talk about it all, because ain't nothing happening that we didn't tell you might happen, in so many words. Kelvin, how you doing this evening?
I don't know, man. I'm conflicted, right? I'm doing well physically, but mentally. FAMU is messing with my emotions, man.
True.
So I'm looking forward to the weekend, and hopefully this W over Jackson State snap me back a little bit.
Kofi, how you feeling? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to lay these burdens down, but they keep doing stupid-ish. So it can be a little troubling, but I know that what's the Bible say? Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers them out of them all. I'm gonna have to stand on that one right there.
Give me a word. Give me a word.
Exactly. What passage did that come out of? So for the people in the back who don't have their Bibles with them,
the scripture says, "Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers them out of them all.
Yeah.
Many are the afflictions of the righteous. That's Psalms 34:19. But the Lord delivers them out of them all. So Psalms 34:19. Yes, sir.
That'll preach real good. That'll preach real good.
Yeah.
Well, before we get too heavy deep into the woods, let me do the quick reminders. Hello to everybody on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter watching the show. Please make sure wherever you're watching us that you hit that thumbs up button. If you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and make sure you're subscribed to that Jericho Broadcast Network's YouTube page. If you're watching us on the ONG Strike Zone Facebook page, make sure you're subscribed there as well. At ONG Strike Zone is where you can find us, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Go download the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. My JBN, my BCSN is where you can find the show. Well, okay, so a lot to unpack here in today's show. Obviously, I'd like to say we were only going to be talking about the UNC game, how we played, what our thoughts and feelings are. I'd also like to say that we were only going to be talking about this upcoming game with Jackson State, our chance to sort of a little payback, but more importantly, a good chance to get off on a strong footing in the SWAC. I'd even like to say, hey, volleyball. We'd be talking about volleyball, although they're not off to a great start right now. But we've got to sort of unpack so many layers. And I'll tell you guys, I just was doing a timeline, and I don't know if you guys went back and take a peek at the show notes. I was looking at the timeline of things, and I didn't even get to Monday night. There's so much stuff that has been going on and happening from the net. Look, I got to say, first and foremost, I want to give credit on, I guess it was Thursday or Friday. I got to say thank you to publicly and out front to the local media, the factual reporters reporting, because with so many rampant stuff going on, my phone was blowing up. I'm sure your guys' phones were blowing up. I appreciate all of the people who were providing factual information. And if I'm leaving somebody out in that, I apologize. But I know for me, between Gerald Thomas of the Democrat, Allison Posey of ABC 27, anybody else you can think of in there, guys, that you want to shout out and say, hey, thank you for giving factual information as they came across it. I think Vaughn Wilson with HBCU Game Day as well, providing factual information as they know it. Not rushed, not off rumors, not off speculation, but factual information. And because, trust me, it was a lot of stuff out there, which just fanned the flames. Okay, so definitely got to say, thank you to them for what they provided, right? So look, we can start at any number of places with the national coverage, but through all of this, I guess let's go around the horn and say what's been the first of many most disappointing things over the last 4 to 5 days for you, Kelvin, and then I'll go to you, Kofi, and then maybe I'll give mine.
That we knew we would be here at some point. When we talked about it here on this show, back when the previous AD was let go, even while he was still here, but specifically around the time period he was let go, we started this mantra: we give a damn and do more with more. We had athletes who were Rattlers, who still are Rattlers, but they're participating their last year at other universities. And they kind of talked about the experience and some of the challenges and the lack of organization. What's disappointing is that we knew and we didn't do anything to prevent it. So now we reacting to this thing. And at the end of the day, it's about leadership or lack thereof. And, nobody wanted to do the hard work. We talked about when the Alumni Association had their meeting here in town. Everybody was here.
Yep.
Athletics didn't come
National
up,
alumni. Yeah. Not at all.
right? The president just got rated for the previous year. Just got rated. Had no metrics for athletics.
None.
Almost got a 5 out of 5.
Ooh, Jesus.
I mean, people say you don't care about athletics because your actions say you don't care about athletics. When you have repeated offenses when it comes to compliance, when it comes to events, when it comes to facilities, when it comes to resources, you never come with an answer. It's always about what you can't do. What are you doing? I see the city of Tallahassee and the $10 million they gave us to do the stadium. I see what they did. I see the 220 Club, and I see the alumni associations and the things that they contribute to that made a difference with the athletic department. I see what they doing, right? But I don't see a value in our president or our board of trustees and what they're doing to help the situation. You don't care about the athletes. If you do, then show it and show
Got a
it
funny way
prior
of showing
to.
it.
Yeah, show it before it's an issue, right? So now you got a bunch of promises of what you're gonna do. We done heard that. That press conference. I'm gonna let somebody else get in here, but that the response to the kids' letter and that press conference, man, was bull. All right, no solutions. Talking about what you gonna do. I don't buy it. And then we got this AD search coming along here. We said we'll have an announcement by the Orange Blossom Classic. That's what we were told on this show.
Yeah,
By the chairperson.
exactly.
No rumors.
Yeah.
I'm just
Facts.
reminding people. I'm just speaking facts. You can feel how you want to feel about them. But we're going to tell the truth today. I'll let Kobe go ahead for now.
Kofi.
Well, when you fail to deal with the issues will deal with you. And this has been like somebody who has a sickness or a disease, and they refuse to go to the doctor to do the things that are necessary to get the help that they need. They pretend as though the sickness or the disease doesn't exist. Meanwhile, the disease is getting stronger and more connected to the vital organs. All right. So we're alive. I want to say really in Rattler Nation, we're alive, but we're unconscious. We've been unconscious for some time. And we've allowed the situation to get to the point of just continual dysfunction. And I want to take responsibility for myself because I really do feel that I could have and should have done more. I'm not an authority. I don't have a position, but I could have and should have done more. As I look at it, as we look inwardly, before I go off, I want to deal with me first, okay? I want to deal with me first because I could have and should have done more, okay? I'd like to address and go down this whole piggybacking on my brother Kelvin's first and opening statement, because going to the press conference, Dr. Larry Robinson got in front of the microphone and had the nerve and audacity to say that he doesn't understand why people think that he doesn't care. Well, sir, I'm going to tell you why people think that you don't care. Number one, a few years ago, the field house was impoverished. It was literally about to implode and fall down. Okay, literally about to implode and fall down. There was diseased mold on the inside of the building. The roof was literally about to cave in. It's not like you didn't have emails on this issue. The coaches emailed you. Courtney Gaucher emailed you. All these people are saying stuff about it, and you put it on the back burner. Why? Because you didn't care. Now, what happened was they managed to get in contact with brother Rick Kinsey. Rick Kinsey happened to be on campus that day. And they went inside the facility and they took those moldy pictures of everything that was molding, the roof caving in and everything. Okay. So when Rick Kinsey released it on social media, it was downright appalling. Now, this is again where it comes back to us because we should have got on his tail then. You have to be Sleep Rattler Nation to understand that the stadium has not been renovated. You can paint over it. You can hire whoever you want to paint the stadium. At the end of the day, it was defaulted and literally about to fall down. It was about to be condemned. We've been painting over mess for years. Happy to come to homecoming. Happy to come to the first home game. Happy to come see Southern play, but the stadium was still imploded. It was still dysfunctional. Nobody cared. When Malazewski and them went through the stadium, and they were getting that report about how bad the stadium was, we should have gone off then. We've been having these opportunities to be like, hey, wait a minute. You mean the stadium? So if Bryant Stadium's gone, as much as we don't like to, play at Florida State, we would have been at Capitol Stadium. Possibly. Or had the opportunity for us to have home games. When you fail to deal with the issues will deal with you. We just had, Mr. President, you said you want to wonder why people think that you don't care. Well, last year we lost 11 to 15 players right before the Jackson State game, the OBC. Okay? That was our opportunity to deal with that then. Why is this happening? We should not have had a repeat offense. Then we had APR scores. We weren't first in the nation. Our football team was last, dead last in the nation with these APR scores. That was the time to deal with it then. We didn't deal with it. We wasn't sick and tired of being sick and tired. We still allowed this thing to fester. We allowed it to go on. We didn't ask enough questions because Lord knows last week I was sitting up there. I was like, should I ask Coach Simmons about these about the eligibility? Because I remember, Savion and the sadness and the frustration that he was having to deal with on a daily basis. These guys have fought during the summer. They out there, they sweating, blood, sweat, and tears. This is what it's all about. You got grown men crying like a baby because of the dysfunctional nature of our athletic department. We've had signs. These track athletes came on here. What was the young lady's name that came on here? She came on here and told us, you're like, hey, you happy? No, I'm not happy to be a FAMU athlete. I'm really not happy. There are things that happen that were just, unspeakable. And while I love FAMU and the people that are there, that I can't say that, they've taken care of us. Coach Shoup has said he's out there mowing the lawn. We wasn't mad enough. we wasn't upset enough.
True.
You know, we literally should have come together by about a good 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 us, and we should have bombarded Larry Robinson's house and be like, sir, this here is unacceptable, or his office while he up in there, and him up and been like, no, you got to deal with this here. You have to deal with it. You cannot change what you don't confront. You can't confront what you don't identify. We are too smart. We are too gifted to allow us to be this dysfunctional. I had another alum to call me, and he was like, man, y'all need y'all tell me, because y'all ain't Talladega. Y'all are not Morris Brown. Y'all are Florida A&M University. I could see it if it was Talladega with 200. I could see it if it was Morris Brown. But the way y'all be walking around here talking about we brag different, y'all can't brag on nothing. I was like, you know what, sir? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I'm saying all of this so that everybody that is under the sound of my voice, because we about to pick an AD. We're about to pick an AD. And down in my spirit, I am feeling some kind of way. I wish I could say I was secure in President Robinson's ability to just look at the paper, look on the paper, discern what we need, and go from there. At this time, our nature has been so toxic, so dysfunctional, that I have absolutely no confidence that this man, who is a nuclear physicist and scientist, is going to look at the information, which is what scientists are trained to do, look at the data and make a decision. Make an informed decision. Make an informed theory. We don't need somebody learning on the job. We need an expert. It is clear. Question: have you served as an AD? Oh, you haven't? Okay, boom. No, you know. All right. Have you worked with the NCAA? Oh, you don't have no experience working with them? Okay, no. All right. What do you know about compliance? Well, I know that. Okay, well, that's nice. Okay. Well, what were the compliance scores while you were here? Well, you know, X, Y. Okay. Yeah. All right. Next. Did you get somebody out of compliance? You did? Okay. All right. All right, here's good. You check that. All right. How much money have you raised? Oh, $1,000? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, you did about $10,000. Okay. Okay. This one right here said he raised $1 million. No, not $1 million. Millions. He raised millions. Nice. That's good. Oh, have y'all built any facilities? Oh, y'all ain't built no facility. You ain't built no facility. Did you build a facility? You built a facility. Oh, look at here. This dude right here has built a facility. Why are we talking? Why is this a lengthy discussion? Well, I hear he's difficult. He should be difficult to deal with from time to time. He's the leader. I want my leader to have confidence and some measure of direction. He don't need to look like us right now. He needs to look like he know what he doing. She needs to look like she know what she doing. But I have zero confidence right now until it comes out that he's going to do it, because he has not done it. So Larry Robinson, again, I don't have no confidence. People don't think that you care because you surround yourself with incompetent people. You surround yourself with people who will say yes to you and not call you out on your BS. You surround yourself with people who are not as smart as you, and that's always a setup for destruction. If you are the smartest one in the room, something is wrong. Amen. I don't have any idea that you care because you've been unwilling to be insecure enough. Now, again, this happened to the football team, our premier team in the entire campus. Imagine what every other sports team is going through. No wonder we don't have a softball coach. No wonder we don't have a track coach. No wonder no wonder we don't have a tennis program. No wonder Mike Rice left. They think you don't care because you don't respond. You had an opportunity to come out and tell us what happened with Courtney. Go say you didn't do it.
Still hasn't.
With your cocky ass. You should have told us, but no. You didn't want to do that because you the president. We so asleep, Rattler Nation, that we sat up here. The only place we really do post is social media. That ain't gonna make no change. Ain't nothing gonna happen because I post. It might make you aware of something. We might agree, but at the end of the day, what are we gonna do? How long are we gonna be sick and tired of being sick and tired? You say you sick and tired. You ain't sick. We keep getting abused. We not sick enough. You're not mad enough. Nope. You're not mad enough. You're not mad enough. This is more than where your little seats are in Bragg Stadium. This is more than you just traveling up. No, this is about these students' lives. Grown men and women, young men and women are crying. Our student athletes don't have anything to eat. They're staying with other people. It doesn't seem like we're in control. I mean, I'm looking like Larry. I mean, let me get my belt. You done sat up here. You done sat up here talking all this foolishness about why you think you don't even, you sitting up there lying, talking to the people like that, lying. Sitting up there lying to you.
The paddle, not the paddle. Lord have mercy. Not the paddle, Kelvin.
Sitting up there lying.
I gotta get me a little bit of that too.
Sitting up there lying. You don't know why. And nobody
what season
has
is it, Kelvin?
Courage. Nobody has the courage to tell your ass why. Because they're getting a check. They're getting a check. Then you allow people who have raggedy behavior.
Oh man, they got him. They got him. I'm telling you. Powerful
Brian,
words.
Ahead,
I know there was murder. I want to take a break. We didn't hit a point in the show where we need to take a break and come back with some more reaction, more thoughts.
Can you hear me?
We got you. We got you now. Finish your thought because we got to go to a quick break.
Yeah. You allow people with raggedy behavior to maintain a job. Raggedy performance. I'm like, who is evaluating these people? It is 2022. In 1988, we were understaffed with financial aid. We were understaffed. Why is this continually a problem? Because we're not sick and tired of it. We're not sick and tired of it. We should have been looked at these people. They should have been under evaluation, not to mention the dorms. Man. You got kids moving out. You don't care because I bet your house don't have no roaches, Larry. I bet your house don't have no rats. You got the band students sitting out there talking about you don't care. They sitting on the side of the curb. Is your wife sitting on the side of the curb, Larry Robinson? When she goes to away games? Are your kids sitting on the side of the curb eating a cold box lunch? Are you allowing your wife to ride up and down the road without taking a shower? Would you do that for your daughters? Why are you doing it to our students? Stop the madness. It's time for your ass to go or make a decision to get better.
With that said, let's take a break. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone. We done told you. Some of y'all just now starting to listen. We'll be back after these words.
Can I get the now bar, please? $1. Have a good one. Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get a now bar.
Sure. $1.
Appreciate you.
Got it.
Majesty is a premium health and wellness tea line focused on bringing delicious yet healthy tea blends to the community. Filled with an abundance of vitamins and antioxidants, we work to blend teas with exotic spices and fruits to produce scrumptious and wholesome beverages. So check us out at mymajesties.com. That's MyMajesties.com. My Majesties, an Urban Passport member. At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Stillman College is an HBCU in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where we prepare students for a different world. Stillman is a college of distinction for last year and this year. Our largest majors are business and biology, followed closely by psychology, criminal justice, and history for pre-law, communications, English, and religion. Our newest degree programs are in the Department of Computational Sciences, which covers cybersecurity, data analytics, and math. The Biomedical Academy prepares students for competitive entry into health professions and graduate programs. We have established summer biomedical research internships with major research institutions, such as the University of Alabama, Drexel and Temple Universities in Philadelphia, the Salk Institute in San Diego, California, and the universities of Florida, Indiana, and Iowa. We became creative with social distancing and masks for the pandemic. Our students enjoy movie nights at the stadium and the new Melissa and Davis Legacy Courtyard, where you can eat and enjoy friends. We have the Divine Nine Greek letter organizations, student government leadership, and ambassadors. Our small class sizes, nurturing faculty, and friendly environment let you know that Black Lives Matter at Stillman College each and every day. Applications are free. Sign up at discover.stillman.edu. Complete the contact card and apply today. Stillman College, where we prepare students for a different world.
Welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, and
And
Kofi.
you better not move. You better not move. You hear me? All right. You hear me? All right. You better not move.
Talking to Larry over there? Who are you talking to? Is that okay?
You know who I'm
Sorry.
talking to. You better not move.
Okay.
Hush. Hush.
Follow the make sure you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. at ONG Strike Zone. Go download the Jericho Broadcast Network's app, my JBM, my BCSN on the Google and Apple Play Store. You can find all of our shows on the BCSN Pod Zone. That's BCSN Pod Zone. Everywhere you listen and download the podcast. Google, Apple, I'm lost as hell. Spotify, iHeart, all of those places and more. So go. We are part of the Black College Sports Network. Hey, real quick, let's get into talking about some of our athletes who are competing. Let me start with golf first. Before we get into talking about the UNC game. So, of course, on this past Monday, the golf team was participating in the Charlie Sifford Centennial Cup, which was put together via the 2022 President's Cup. And so, for those of you who are avid golfers, you're familiar with the President's Cup, which I think plays in the off years of the Ryder Cup series. So the Rattler men's golf team competed as part of a group along with Alabama State and Livingstone College golfers as Team Sifford. They competed against Team Black in this inaugural Centennial Cup. Interim head coach Mia Campbell said the guys did an amazing job and took care of their business. I'm especially glad the guys were able to enjoy the experience and have fun. The Rattlers played a massive role in the victory as all four Rattlers won their match, led by, I know I'm going to mess these names up, Kelvin, so if you can help me out here. Ayush.
You're on your own, my brother.
What? Oh, thank you. You know what? I wish these names, if anyone's been paying attention to the football rosters, they have phonetic pronunciations now next to names. Shout out to Josh Padilla. Hey, Josh, can we get that with all of the teams? Because some of these teams have harder names than the football players. That's a small ask. Ayush Bodhale defeated Johnson C. Smith's Isaiah Trolliger with 7 wins and 5 holes remaining. Troy Stribling defeated Texas Southern's Owen Walsh with 4 and 3 holes remaining. And Jacob Ayusado defeated Howard's Joshua Siplin with 3 wins and 2 holes remaining. Patrick Jean-Pierre defeated Howard's Justin Green with 2 wins and 1 hole remaining. Hey, look, that's a great, Coach Rice told us that these young men were going to be very good golfers as they mature, and this may be the beginning of it. Though the Rattlers are back in action on September 26th in the BCGCA Black College Hall of Fame. All right, moving away from golf over to volleyball. Tough weekend for our Lady Rattlers, Kelvin. They went out to Kansas State, played out there. They lost those 3 contests that they played in. Probably still, obviously, NC State, Kansas State, 2 of the opponents of the 3 are top 50. We talked about it, top 50, top 55 ranked teams. Sam Houston State, we lost 2. What was the score on that one? You recall? Anybody recall? I think it was like 3-1.
3-2.
Okay, 3-2, something like that. So that was a close, winnable contest, but unfortunately we came up short. Earlier this evening, they were over across the tracks over at Florida State. Final results, Florida State wins those 3-0. Much closer contest, though. We lost the first set 27-25. The second set, we lost 25-19. Third set, 25-20. So I'd say a great improvement from what I was watching. I don't know, did you guys get a chance to watch before we jumped on tonight?
No, Serena was on.
Okay. How about you, Kelvin?
No, I didn't. I had violin lessons with the little one, but I want to say with volleyball now, we know about the compliance issues with football. Let's not think that the compliance issues are just football. There's other fall sports that have transfers, and if you look at the list of players, you'll notice that a couple of players who transferred in for volleyball didn't participate either.
Have not started playing yet.
And right. And the thing is, why would you allow this to be? Why would you send somebody over there that was not NCAA certified? Because what I've learned about this entire process is that, and Kelvin can speak on this, is athletics compliance is different from the regular academic compliance. Okay, athletic compliance is different from the regular academic compliance that a normal FAMU student would go through. So
wait a minute. Hold on. Say that again, because I just heard the man say he was gonna have all these people over in the athletics all of a sudden helping out. So say that again.
Okay, now he actually did state to this or speak to this on yesterday.
Okay.
In terms of compliance. Athletic compliance is different from regular academic compliance. It's different. There are a number of rules you have with academic compliance. The normal student just has to deal with FAMU rules and regulations regarding progression, regarding what's needed, regarding what's required. Okay. Athletic compliance includes the NCAA rules as it pertains to compliance. So, the issues that we've had, even with baseball, from what I understand, were not because our team was not succeeding academically. It was a compliance issue with the way that somebody transferred or moved into a particular school or a major, which is why academic advisement for our athletes has to be given by somebody who has already been trained in this area so that these mistakes don't continue to happen. If you care about these things, you make sure that qualified people do it. It's no different than somebody watching your child. This is my baby. Okay, this is my baby. Okay, so you just gonna let a diseased maniac handle your child. You know they sick. You know they got a call, but you're gonna let your baby go and be held by that person who pitch their boogers and don't wipe their tail. You're gonna let them go do that. But that's what we do with our academic advisement. We get tired, and this is something that has been just going on. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Okay? Expecting a different result. So we've been sitting here for quite some time. Somebody fails in one department at FAMU for a lack of productivity in an area. And instead of just letting them go and discover themselves, we don't do that because we want you to have a job. Oh, no. No, you messed up in this area. And unfortunately, we can't keep you around. So you literally gotta go. We don't do that. We reassign them to another part of the campus because we got a relationship with them. And it's hard for you to say you're fired. I'm sorry. We've decided to go in a different direction. We've decided to go. So we have a whole bunch of people that's moving around that feel secure that FAMU's not going to let go of me. FAMU's going to continue to provide for me. FAMU's going to continue to, put food on my table, et cetera, because they love me and I'm legacy. I'm connected. They owe me. No, they don't. They don't owe you. They owe you. You owe them. You owe FAMU your very best. And if you can't give FAMU your very best, you need to move out the way. Go to TCC, go to Fort Valley with that foolishness talking about, XYZ. Can you do the job? Can you do the job? And there should be evaluations on a periodic basis. Going back to Larry. I told you not to move now. All right. Going back to Larry in these dorms and stuff, you sitting up there. I mean, we had just gotten Pokerhorn Village a few years ago. We'd just gotten it. Wasn't that long. Hadn't been open even 10 years. And you let mold get in there to the point where kids couldn't even move in. It was a big news write-up about it. you would have thought that we would have some type of standard going on with all of our dorms with inspection. You would think that, right? Apparently not. We got to do better.
Hey, hashtag do better. Okay, so finishing up with volleyball, coming up next on the schedule after this, for the ladies, they are actually hosting a series Friday and Saturday, hosting against Yale. Yale. And I guess this is a joint venture with Florida State, but all these will be at the Lawson Center Friday at noon. They take on Yale. Then at 6 p.m. in the Lawson Center, they take on Austin Peay State. And then on Saturday at 1 o'clock, they take on James Madison. So hopefully this is a weekend where we can kind of get back into the winning groove. It'd be nice to see our ladies get back to sweeping opponents. 3 wins, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0 would be great. This Florida State contest should be a very encouraging start for Coach Gokhan and the Lady Rattlers. So we'll keep them in our thoughts and prayers heading into the weekend. I'm gonna implore you guys. Look, we talk about doing this. Let's get this game streamed. Hopefully, this game will stream on the internet, on YouTube, on Facebook, YouTube. There's no reason why it can't. I know a lot of people, a lot of the key figures will be down in South Florida, but whoever the administrator is still in town, reach out, find a way to get this game put on the FAMU Athletics Facebook page. Okay, let's turn our attention to the game on Saturday night, because of all the stuff that happened on Friday, and I was looking back on the timeline, the guys wrote their letter on Sunday, the big responses on Monday, not only from the lawyer, but the school. You got Roland Martin, all these people coming in on FAM at Monday. There was a game on Saturday. And I'd say for about a 4-hour period over this weekend, 3-hour period this weekend. Well, what I was going to say is there was a period when I don't know about you guys, but I got a lot of good text. A lot of people were very pleased, very impressed with FAMU from what they saw. Of course, going into the game, you got people talking smack. You got the Vegas line that jumped from 35 up to 45. People expecting a massive blowout given the inaccurate or just the numbers that were thrown out of how many missing guys. So all of that was going on, right? But I kept telling people, nah, this FAMU team's going to show up. This FAMU team, we got enough people that we still have some parts that'll be coming to play, and they're going to play with a lot of pride. And we're going up against an opponent that's still learning themselves. Offensively, that team is very young. That team with a young quarterback, young running back, they got one dominant receiver, and all of a sudden they found a tight end game. But anyway, that was more so a product of our defense. But I came away really excited to see what Jeremy Musa did. And I think Rattler Nation came away very excited as well. And it just gives us new optimism and hope for this upcoming weekend against Jackson State. Kelvin, your impressions from the game, maybe 3 takeaways or 3 things that you really enjoyed about Saturday's game against UNC.
First thing, thank you, football players, support staff, coaches, team, for how you handle the situations. I stand with you in terms of you voicing your concerns and speaking out. And I appreciate that you, in the end, decided to play the game. And I applaud you at the level you played the game. It was impressive. I can understand if we didn't have as good of a game based upon everything that was going around, but y'all blocked it out enough and compartmentalized everything, and you went out there on that field with that orange green on, and you represented yourselves well, right? I was extremely impressed with that performance. It's a performance for me just because of the circumstances, but also with what we did, right? So first takeaway, I got to give Musa credit. He hadn't played in 3 years, and even Matt Brown said, that they weren't expecting him to start. So they really didn't blitz and do a whole bunch of man and so forth. And he stood in there and he found his weapons. We know we got weapons, both in the backfield as well as out wide. We got them in spades, as a matter of fact, right? And we saw some of that. And he did his job. He didn't try to do too much. He had the one miscue, which is gonna happen, before the half. But I don't even put that on him because that play should have never been called. We should have ran the ball out before the half and went in 21-14. But he was impressive. So that's takeaway number one. Takeaway number two for me was no surprise, Zay being Zay, 10 catches. But as a group, that the offensive line, I'm sorry. That offensive line being shorthanded and playing against 5 stars and 4 stars on UNC defensive line without the normal depth that you would have, and you got guards playing tackles, people out of position. They were awesome. They exceeded expectations. That offensive line, and then we got 2 guys hurt by half, and we still put 10 more points on the board in the second half. So I mean, Coach Henry, and that O line, those guys were awesome. And I guess my third takeaway is Rattler Nation, as well as the team and the March 100. They did what they do, right? We brought Florida and what family is to North Carolina, and we put it on a national stage. You got UNC band dancing, and I thought it was a beautiful moment, frankly. I saw clips where the band was on the campus of a pregame, and I saw we had a nice contingent of Rattlers at the game, and then of course the team played excellent, man, and I just thought that part is what makes FAMU special, and FAMU football season special. We represented it in every way, so I was really proud of just all of that. And my only concern coming out of this game is the offensive line guys don't look like the 2 that got injured. Look like it's serious enough where they won't be participating for this game for sure, and maybe one of them not for the season. So now getting these other guys cleared and getting those guys reps and stuff takes more of a important role now. So I'm interested to see how that play out. And then as well as Musa was and played this weekend, we know that he's going to get blitz, and we know we're going to get man coverage.
Mm-hmm.
So do it again. If I will say this, if our offensive line play and our quarterback play gonna be at that level all year, preventing injuries, it's a wrap, folks. The Rattlers are SWAC champs and the Celebration Bowl champs. If that's what we get,
yeah,
and this game go a long way to telling us that part of it.
That might have been one of the most impressive performances we've had against an FBS opponent since 1979. I mean, honestly, it's actually I think I read somewhere that it was the most points that we've scored against what you say a 1A/FBS opponent. So much encouraging things came out of that. Kofi, what are some takeaways? 3 takeaways that you had from that game on Saturday?
I want to say of course, Musa was amazing. I was also happy to see our wide receivers make plays. They showed that they were quick, they were fast, and they held on to the ball. I was also happy to see that's two. I want to say I was also happy to see the way that our guys just really, really, really competed. You know, a couple of fourth downs. North Carolina had an opportunity to convert, and we stopped them. So, I mean, when you get that type of effort from your guys, it's just really, really, really inspiring. And we played for it was 35-24 going into the fourth. And if Terrell Jennings does not fumble the ball, you know, we're still kind of like hanging around a little bit. You know, they converted our turnovers into touchdowns. So if you take those 14 points away from stuff that shouldn't have happened, that did happen, you know, it would have been, I want to say, even a more competitive game. Just imagine if we had everybody, what that game could have been and what it would have been like. We'll never know. And that's the sad part. Now, what I will say is one of the things that impressed me that I wanted to impress upon us as Rattler Nation, like never before, we've got to support our teams, guys. I mean, our kid, I'm not talking about definitely football. We know we got to be there. Okay. In fact, at the football game, when the boys come out, we need to be locked up. Everybody just need to lock arms because that's what they do. We need to lock arms to show solidarity and unity that we stand with them, that we with them. Everybody Rattler Nation, just be like this. Bam. We with you. That's what needs to happen. In addition, we need to be with all our athletes because no, that if this is happening with football, imagine what the other sports are going to. We owe them the support. We owe them our resources.
Yeah, well said. You know, for example, I just heard somebody, and I just saw somebody in the message asking about cross country. Cross country hadn't started yet, to my knowledge. I don't think they start until September. So that's why you haven't seen anything from cross country just yet. But all of our sports, I mean, I know, for example, softball is going to go into their fall season soon. You know, I've seen some videos of the basketball program starting workouts. I'm sure baseball will have fall ball. Well said, Kofi. All of our athletes need our support. I was encouraged to see the letter from the young lady, or I won't even want to credit to one person, but it looks like the residents of the housing, Pokenhorn, I think, or was it Palmetto? I saw you retweeted earlier,
Palmetto.
Kofi. Was it Palmetto? Yeah, the students of Palmetto that and that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Look, there isn't I was going to get to my quick points about the game, but while we're talking about it, you've got an emergency board meeting being called, board of trustees meeting coming up on Friday. We'll talk about that on the other side, but I will say quickly again, Kofi called us to action back in the summer. A lot of people kind of heard it, let it go in one ear and out the other. We called you to action again in August, early August, to write the letters. And you heard our letters. You heard my letter. You heard Kofi's letter. And so I don't know how many of y'all really took us up on it, but there's still time. There is still time to you should be flooding the Board of Trustees inboxes, all of them, all 12, however many there are, flood their inboxes with your letters. The email address is right there on the website. You can go to our Twitter feed. We put the link there before. Go to our Twitter feed. It's there. You want me to repost it? I'll retweet it again for you. Send your letters, people. Make it known. When they have this Board of Trustees emergency meeting, because now all of a sudden you got national media, national attention on you. Now we got to have an emergency meeting to talk about things. Things that should have got talked about back when you had the meeting in Orlando back in early August. You should have talked about it then. You should have talked about it over the summer, but now you wanted to dress up and pass out checks and pop bottles. Yeah, great.
Unity.
Well, unity. Unity was the key word, right? Unity. Yes. Okay. Unity. Well, look what Unity got us. Unity got us looking like it, anyway. It got us in this point of looking bad. On national,
on a
go
national
ahead,
scale,
Kofi. On a national scale, yes.
The great Miles Monroe said this, and it has stuck with me for the rest of my life. He said that whatever you mismanage, you lose. Whatever you mismanage, you lose. Why are we keeping people around that continue to mismanage our stuff? It's beyond me. Let that sink in. Whatever you mismanage, you lose. There should be a penalty for mismanagement. What is it? You know, we are so afraid of change that we're willing to keep the dysfunction. We're so afraid of what's out there that we're willing to to deal and keep the dysfunctional stuff around. And we can't do that, man. We got to step up.
Well said. Let's take a short break. Come back on the other side. I will finish my quick little takeaways from UNC. I want to give some props to an alum that wrote a great piece, I thought, in the Tallahassee Democrat. And we'll start looking forward to week 1 and maybe speculate on what this emergency board of trustees meeting might look like. All right, that's my cue to go to break. All right, you're watching the ONG Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Let's get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your fam.
Let's face it, shopping for insurance can be time-consuming. That's why when it comes to your auto, home, and life insurance needs, make things simple and trust the experts at Allstate. They will help you get the coverage that fits your needs while helping you bundle your life, home, and auto policies. Bundling saves you money, sure, but it also saves you time, so you can enjoy the things that matter most even more. Contact me, Tammy Haynes, your local agent, for a free personalized insurance quote. Allstate, are you in good hands?
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
This is Carlos Brown, letting you know that we're on the move. You can now catch the Carlos Brown Show beginning this July on the Black College Sports Network each and every Saturday from 11 to 1 Eastern Time. That's 10 to 12 Central Time. Same time, new place. On Facebook at the Carlos Brown Show and Black College Sports Network. Online at www.mybcsn.net and on the BCSN app available on Google Play and the Apple App Store.
Q Time is a classic Atlanta soul food restaurant located in the historic West End. Q Time Soul Food is a family business started by Fred and Christine Crenshaw. Come on in, relax, and sink your chops into our tantalizing, mouth-watering, distinctive soul food with a twist, the Q Time way. 1120 Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard, or call your order in at 404-758-2881. Do you miss your mama's cooking? Then come on down to Q Time, an Urban Passport member.
Bounty versus the old family dish towel. Drying with a fresh sheet of Bounty leaves your hands cleaner than a used dish towel that can carry and redistribute food residue. So ditch the dish towel for better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
Welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, and Kofi. Pleased to be back with you, reminding you, go make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ONG Strike Zone. We're just three guys who've been telling it like it is for a long time, and finally folks are listening. My final quick takeaway from FAMU UNC game, and I love the fact that we threw the ball. Jeremy Musa threw the ball to 10 different receivers. 10 different receivers caught a pass, and then Xavier Smith caught 10 balls for 78 yards. That I can't remember the last time. I mean, probably somebody's going to look this up and tell me, oh, it happened last year, B. What are you talking about? But it feels like a long time since we threw to 10 different receivers that caught a pass. He was 28 of 38, and we left some out on the field too, as you guys pointed out. In terms of running the ball, I really like the Jennings, A.J. Davis, McLeod, those guys did a great job. DeAndre Francis even got in there. Jeremy Musa got some runs in there. I just like our ability there to run and pass. And we were just talking about it. We were missing Kamani Young, who should be our starting tight end. He's one of the guys caught up in those issues that are happening. So we were missing him. Defensively, Isaiah Major, 9 tackles, leading the team, a tackle for loss. Timothy Williams Jr., 8 tackles, all solo. Kendall Bowler, 6 tackles, 5 solo. So those are a few other guys, Johnny Chaney and Kimani King with 6 all. So that's kind of our top tacklers there. I will say it was kind of disappointing. I guess maybe give credit to North Carolina's offensive line. I would have liked to see us get to the quarterback, but given our leading pass rusher was not there, that to be said, it is what it is, right? But that's what concerns me this upcoming week with Jackson State. I feel like we do pressure on Shador. We have to find a way to make him comfortable, especially if we're going to have our defensive backs playing up. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk to Charles Bishop of the Pregame Show and Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Obviously, things in look, we have problems at FAMU. Jackson State is dealing with problems in Jackson, Mississippi. Those who haven't been paying attention, they are dealing with a water crisis involving their city, and it's having effect not only on students, but the student athletes. Jackson State supposedly is supposed to be traveling to Miami tomorrow. Florida A&M is already down in Miami. Jackson State is supposed to be traveling tomorrow. I'm sure for them, it'll be a bit of a relief, but it's a relief with their thoughts on their peers, families back in Jackson. So both teams are coming into this ball game sort of with issues over them and clouding just the good nature and the great, happy, warm feelings that everyone is going to supposedly be walking into Hard Rock Stadium with. You're going to be thinking about all these other things. So being able to compartmentalize that will be very important. I got to give a shout out real quick, guys, to Vaughn Wilson, a special to the Democrat that came out Monday the 29th. The headline reads, quote, "We are tired of it. FAMU alum challenges President Robinson to support athletics compliance." And I believe, Kelvin, you worked with Vaughn, I believe, in the athletic department during your time there, correct?
Yes.
So Vaughn's first couple paragraphs, and those, if you didn't get a chance to read it, I don't know if it's on the paywall or not. I mean, I'm a subscriber because I want to support guys like Gerald Thomas III, who's covering the hell out of FAMU athletics and football. And so I'm even though they stick a lot of his stuff behind the paywall, I am signed up. I'm there. But Vaughn's opening paragraphs read, "It's past time for Florida A&M President Dr. Larry Robinson to take charge of the academics of athletics. It's amazing that I have had to remix this column at least twice over the last decade. I have said the exact same thing and predicted the failures that come along with an NCAA Division I university that does not take the seriousness of athletics, academics, and compliance as a priority. I can probably save myself time by just changing the date of the last time I wrote on this issue, and it will still be relevant today." He goes on to talk about history repeating itself from the 2019 when FAMU was hit with multiple infractions. In fact, because of that, we ended up doing a self-imposed ban, which actually cost us a trip to the Celebration Bowl that year because we self-imposed ourselves during that period. He even goes back to talk about how back in 2017 when how the Rattler Productions, under the direction then of Milton Overton, had to work along with Seminole Productions and had to work with, just to say, hey, we don't know everything. We're not claiming to know everything. Let's work with some people who have worked in this field of doing what we're being asked to do, and let's get some help. And so he talks about that. And I'll tell you, Kelvin, what I found interesting is that's one of the things that is hurting a lot of HBCUs, especially as the new streaming deals and all these other things were being put out over the last couple of years. Conferences were putting and asking these schools to do things that they just weren't prepared to do. They weren't ready for what was being asked. So I want to get your thoughts on this, Kelvin, because you've been in the office, you've been there. We were talking about how during your time in athletics, we amazingly had a staff of 9, I believe was the number, between academic and compliance people. the two departments that everyone's been talking about of late has 2 people in it currently, right? We used to have 9. 6 academic support people, 3 compliance people, and that was as far back as what, 5 years ago, Kelvin? 6 years ago? Take it from there. Take it from there if you would.
4 or 5 years, yeah.
Yeah, and that was a result of, and how did we get there and how did we lose that? If you could, I don't know if you could talk on that, touch on that if you would.
So we were already on the NCAA inquiry because of APR compliance issues and so forth, and we also under I think Milton's term had applied for and received NCAA grant for low resource institutions to help with support services. So under Dr. Easton's leadership and Kendra Green, who was over compliance, uh, and they got me involved to follow through with some of the facility stuff. We took that NCAA money and we actually tried to be professional and do what needed to be done in order to put the university athletic department on sound foundation. So she staffed up her area with 3 NCAA certified people to include herself from the compliance side. And these people had experience at conference offices at other universities, um, and they were NCAA certified people. And that was a fight because the university wanted us to utilize in-house resources that weren't certified.
Like
But
what they're
given
trying to
that,
do now?
yes,
Oh, okay. I'm
and
just I thought I'd ask. Yeah.
and it was a battle, but to Dr. Easton's credit, that was one that he did fight for, and so ultimately, the university didn't influence that aspect of on the academic side. We had a person who was over that area who also um, was NCAA certified and an athletic person. Now he did have some university resource under him, but because he was NCAA certified, uh, he was able to help catch some of the things that maybe would get through the cracks of people who weren't NCAA certified. So I mean, it was just a concentrated effort. You got to remember the NCAA was coming and giving visits. During that time, we also redid the entire gave the office complex area with furniture and a honors wall that had all our 4.0 student athletes. The student lounges were all redone. The compliance area, the computer labs. So there was a focus, but the focus came from the AD and his administrative team. You hear Vaughn in his article talk about how he went over to Florida State when we find out that we were going to do some streaming stuff. And so he, as a professional, even though he had some experience, he wanted to see how other universities were doing it and what resources it were required. So what I would say is there was a team of people who were not only passionate, who were competent, but they were professionals, and wherever they were weak, they made sure they strengthened themselves. They didn't say what we don't have. You made things happen. There was action, and that's my issue with kind of where we are right now. There is no action, and there's a bunch of talk. And in the meantime, the student athletes and the support staff and athletics, as well as the head coaches and players, they're not being served the way they should be serviced.
This emergency, coming up here at the bottom of the hour, Charles Bishop's coming up, so we're going to talk about the Jackson State game with him. get the inside scoop on what Jackson State is doing, things of that nature. But Kofi, I wanted to come to you and ask, and I just had it on the tip of my tongue, so I apologize for losing it there. Go to Board of Trustees emergency meeting. Let's speculate, because this. So I talked to I talked to somebody who connected, and what I found interesting is things that you started to see from FAMU communications, press releases, stuff that we kind of look at and are like, what are we doing? What are we doing? But anyway, a lot of reaction to national media. ESPN writes a story about the 5-page letter from the players. All of a sudden, you get the communications letter on Monday night from Keith Miles about how great and how what we're doing positive. Roland Martin comes out and calls out Dr. Robinson on his show, and all of a sudden we're gonna go down to the field house, come down off the high hill, and go down to the field house and talk face to face with the guys and figure out and get a real sense of how passionate they are about the problems. Okay, let's do that. And now we have a board of trustees meeting, emergency meeting, just 2 weeks after they had their 2 to 3 day a 2 to 3 day session, a work session, I'm sure, with Dr. Robinson. What can we speculate this to be about, Kofi? What do you see coming out of this meeting on Friday morning? I believe it's 10 or 11 a.m.
Well, from the agenda, the main portion of the meeting is going to deal with the state of FAMU athletics. So there are a number of different things that it could also include, including where we are in the AD search. Obviously, I mean, I'm already not confident in this board of trustees, but I do give them somewhat credit of hopefully being reactive. If they don't ask any questions in regards to what happened and how do we get to this point and what's being done, they're not. All of them need to be removed. I still think that all of them need to be removed, but they need to be removed from the spot. And but it's really about the state of FAMU athletics. I'm hoping that they will really, really, really do their job, do what they are assigned to do, which is provide oversight. And hopefully somebody will have the courage to at least make a motion. Hey, I would like to vote on the vote of confidence or deal with the vote. I would like to propose a vote of confidence or not confidence in Larry Robinson, following Robert's rules of order.
That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting if that actually happened. I don't feel I for some reason I don't feel confident that will actually happen. The last time there was supposed to be a vote of no confidence, it got pushed back in the back room somewhere underneath a program on a table.
Did that make sense? Could you hear me?
We missed the last part. Yeah, we missed the last part of what you were saying.
No, somebody needs to make a motion. I move that Larry Robinson be removed as president. All that agree, say aye.
Aye.
You know what I'm saying? Just something to that effect. And so something formal needs to happen. More than likely, it's just gonna be an open reprimand, because they got to deal with the dorm issues too. He's not going to get fired, but unless the NAA president and the National Alumni Association, and all of us really get to a unified spot where, you know, we literally say enough is enough, but we're not there yet.
Hey,
he's never really even been reprimanded about anything. Does he have any open reprimands in his file?
No, he has a bonus on the way.
Got a wow
Ridiculous.
for that 4.8, 4.4 rating. Is that what the bonus is for?
Well, the football letter went to the Board of Governors, and that's also the reason why I probably suspect that they have to call this meeting, because the Board of Governors, next time we come to them, they're gonna have some questions, you know, because the football players sent that letter to the Board of Trustees and the Board of Governors.
That was smart. That was a smart play. Very smart
we
play.
don't, you know, when I first met Dr. Robinson, we had a meeting. He literally was like, you know, we've got a bunch of FAMU employees and stuff that one of the things that bothers me is how they have total disregard of the protocol and they immediately go to SACs. And so I said, well, it sounds like people don't have confidence in the people that are in charge. And they probably feel like they're petty. They probably feel like they're going to take it personal. And there's no need to have a a protocol if they're not going to honor or have any honor or integrity behind what they say or do. We don't trust the people that you put in charge to oversee us. We don't trust it. And we don't trust you. So we go into SACs. And if it shuts the university down, it shuts the university down. That's what happens when people get fed up.
You know, look, we've talked, and I think your opening spoke to this word and the problems that we have. I see people, I don't know who was it. I saw somebody mention something about recruiting. I think it was Chuck Hunt. I don't know what the whole nature of the comment was, but we're past worrying about what others think about how this is going to affect FAMU. We have to get out of that. It's almost to the point, guys, where I'm going to tell you what, if you got to burn it down to rebuild it right, I'm sorry. And I'm not going to lie, I don't know about y'all, but there was a small portion of me that almost wanted the boycott. I tried to do some research of the Grambling boycott from 2013 for their facilities and the conditions that those players went through. There was a part of me that almost wanted the players to hold on and not go to Carolina, because because nothing else has worked. Nothing else has awakened people's consciousness about how serious it is. Go ahead, Kofi.
Yeah, so if you don't mind, Kelvin, do you have a Bible near you, around you, anywhere on your phone? And Brother Brian, if you don't mind, can you look up the word systemic for me, please?
Yes, sir. I'm going to look up right now. I'm going to do a quick little definition of the word systemic. Okay.
If you have your Bible, Kelvin, go to Ecclesiastes chapter number 3 and verse number 1.
I'm ready with the word
You
systemic.
got systemic? Go ahead, sir.
I do.
Go ahead. Systemic.
Okay. It's an adjective relating to a system, especially as opposed to a particular part. Now, there's a physiology here denoting the part of the circulatory system concerned with the transport. I don't think that's what you were looking for, right?
No. Systemic. It's a systemic issue. Say it again.
Okay, so this is as it relates to physiology, denoting the part of the circulatory system concerned with the transportation of oxygen to and carbon dioxide from the body in general, especially as directed from the pulmonary part concerned with the transportation of oxygen from and carbon dioxide to the lungs.
Last one, look up system while my brother Kelvin pulls up Ecclesiastes 3. Start at verse number 2, Brother Kelvin. Start at verse 1, because that's key. Ecclesiastes 3, verse number 1.
A time for everything?
Uh-huh. Keep going.
There's time for everything. A season for every activity under the heavens.
It's a time for everything. For every act. It's a time. Read, sir.
And a season for every activity under the heavens.
It's a period. A period of time. Go.
A time to be born and a time to die.
Read.
A time to plant and a time to uproot.
Stop right there. There's a time when we put seeds in the ground, and there's a time when you have to pull up stuff that's not supposed to be there. Read.
A time to kill and a time to heal.
It's some stuff that needs to be killed. Hold on, wait. Stop right there. It's some stuff that needs to be killed on the highest of 7 hills. Read the Bible.
A time to tear down and a time to build.
Stop right there. It's a time to tear down and a time to build. People, Rattling Nation, there's a time to tear down. A time. If there was ever a time to tear some ish down, this is it. This thing needs to be torn down. The way that we lead, who we have over us, it needs to be torn down. You can't build on top of mess.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that.
In the movie Poltergeist, they built the house on top of a graveyard, and the whole family was affected.
Preach. Tell them.
They couldn't sleep. Clowns was waking the children up out of the bed. They didn't understand why. Because they built on top of something that they weren't supposed to build on top of. How long, FAMU, are we going to build on top of mess?
Come on.
This is a time to tear down and move stuff. Go to Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 10. But I'm going to stop. Again, this right here, we've got to understand what it means to tear some ish down. The way that we're doing, we have a systemic problem. The system is not working. God thought enough of us to put different systems that did not interfere with one another so that we could live. The respiratory system does not interfere with the circulatory system. They're independent of one another, and they work together. Jeremiah 1 and 10, read.
You want to start with 10?
Yep.
See, today I appoint you over nations and kingdoms to uproot and tear down.
Uproot, tear down.
To destroy and overthrow.
We need, stop. We need this stuff to be destroyed. We don't need to see this ever again. We don't need to see this amount of complacency ever again. It needs to be destroyed. The nepotism on the highest of 7 hills, hiring friends and hiring people that clearly are not qualified to do a job. It needs to be destroyed. That mindset needs to be destroyed. Read.
To build and to plant.
We can't notice, again, you build and plant after stuff has been what? Torn down.
Destroyed and overthrown. Uprooted and torn down. Oh, man, the devil busy. They done got him, Brian.
Hey, I got you here. He asked for what is a system? A set of things working together as part of a mechanism or an interconnecting network. Also, a set of principles or procedures according to which something is done, an organized framework or method. That is a system. The system is not working. It
ain't working.
It ain't working.
It ain't working.
Y'all can continue. We can continue to. We go if as Kofi just said, if you don't burn it down, if you don't bring it down now, and it's a hard reality, folks. because, but you know what? I'm gonna go back to something Coach Simmons said himself. He said it to the 220 club. We've been here before, FAMU.
It's a shame, but we've been here
He
before.
said it. He said it. He didn't know that them words were gonna be used in such a manner, but he did say we've been here before. This ain't the first time. We shouldn't want to be. We shouldn't want to be here. It's been 30-something years, folks. Maybe 20. At least a good 20. We shouldn't want to be here anymore.
Look, man. And
we are a blue blood. We are a blue blood program.
Yeah.
We should be one of the premier programs academically and athletically in the nation. What's going on shouldn't be going on. And we can worry about it affecting recruiting, whether we're going to keep our coach. I can live with losing all of it if I know it's going to be rebuilt right, because God going to look after FAMU.
Look,
FAMU is going to be okay. We will rebuild it.
We're not talking about tearing down all the buildings in the university. We're talking about the mentality and the people that we've allowed to be dysfunctional for a long time. For us to be this comfortable with this high level of dysfunction is ridiculous. You cannot build with trees in the way. Move the trees out the way. They knock them down. They uproot them. They move all that stuff out of the way. They clear the land so that there is room to build. There's too much of us in the way. Too much foolishness in the way for us to build. We got to do this. All right, moving on.
And I'll tell you what, the sad part is whoever comes in as the athletic director, you're either going to go along to get along or you're going to try to make a change. Now, which one are you going to be? There's 6 candidates out there. You either going to go along to get along or you're going to come in and try to make. And the sad part is, the person who's hiring you, come on. That's part of the sad part about this. I mean, I understand that's your boss. That's the tricky part of all this.
It's not that tricky though, Brian. The reason it's not that tricky because every 2 or 3 years you got a new AD anyway, right? No matter who the president is, because of the dysfunction that has been institutionalized within the university. So it ain't the risk. No, there's a bigger risk of not doing anything. The bigger risk is getting along to get along. Yeah. There's very little risk, honestly, in my opinion, in trying to right the ship. Because whichever way you go, 2 to 3 years, our history has been since the last 20 years, 2 to 3 years, it's going to be somebody else in the chair anyway.
We can get five good years. At least 5.
Hey, let's transition because our guest is here, and it's time to start transition over to talking about this Orange Blossom Classic matchup with Jackson State. And I believe we've got Charles Bishop preparing to come on the show with us right now. Of course, Charles is a part of the Pregame Show, a show that does an excellent job of covering Jackson State University athletics. They are highly immersed in everything going on.
Is it D or duh?
Well, they call it the. Here we go. They call it the, and only because I love Charles and he's a part of the Black College Sports Network family. That's the only reason I will give it his proper no. I mean, the Pregame Show does an excellent job of providing great coverage for folks who want to know what's going on with Jackson State University athletics and football. So we can go ahead and bring Charles in now, as Charles is in, and there he is, live and direct. Charles Bishop, how you doing, my friend?
Hi, guys. How are you doing? It's a pleasure to be on with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We appreciate you taking time to come in and join us as we get ready to do battle with Jackson State University again, the OBC remix. First off, Charles, I know you are from the Jackson, Mississippi area, and I know everything that's going on in Jackson has got to be hurting your heart. And you may have friends and family probably still there. What's the latest that you can share with us about the situation going on in Jackson, Mississippi, as it relates to water and things of that nature?
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that has come out is the community has really rallied to really provide water to those who need water. I've talked to quite a few people, and it seems as though it's affecting the city in different ways. My mother has not had any water pressure issues. Of course, she's been boiling the water and things of that nature, taking all precautions. But the water pressure issues have seemingly happened at various points within the city. So there are some areas that haven't been affected by water pressure, but it is a citywide issue. Boil water notices all over the place, and we're not sure about how long they will be going through this sort of, for lack of better words, calamity, if you will. But it's a tough situation, but people are making the best out of it.
And I'm under the impression that it's also affecting Jackson State students overall, not just Jackson State student athletes, but the entire student community as well.
Yeah, I understand they've gone to virtual learning because the coolant systems that are on campus have to use water. So water, of course, is contaminated. So you don't have air in buildings on campus. So they've gone to a lot of, I guess, plan Bs, if you will, that are on campus. So it is affecting students in various ways. Jackson State football team, they're staying at a hotel off campus until they leave tomorrow for the Orange Blossom Classic. So a lot of plan Bs and plan Cs and plan Ds going on right now in regards to trying to get through this water crisis.
Right. I mean, with all the things going on, I mean, here we are trying to ask these young men and coaches to prepare for a football game. So, I mean, with that said, and I hate to use the word distraction, but for lack of a better word, let me maybe use the word challenging. How challenging then has this been for the coaches and the players? Well, how has this affected their preparation and planning?
It's been a challenge, but it hasn't affected preparation or planning. They have continued to go through the paces with regards to getting ready for the Orange Blossom Classic, and probably more film work, but they've been out on the field, so they've been able to continue to, I guess, and I put this in air quotes, be business as usual, despite everything going on in the city. But nothing has changed the preparation, nothing has changed the planning. They are still fully focused on heading down to Miami and trying to take care of business.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna toss it over to Kelvin. Charles, if you can for me, kind of maybe shake the wires on your headphone a little bit. I'm hearing just a little bit of a digital staticky there coming through on your end, or maybe your end. But go ahead, Kelvin, jump in there with your questions.
Yeah, Charles. So since Dion has been there, a lot of changes have come to the program. I look at the locker room, and the field turf and so forth, and the practice facilities, and now you've added, since last year, you've added a lot of talent. You've added coaches who've been head coaches at FCS level. You got consultants who've been head coaches NFL college level. He's really operating that program as a FBS program. So I'm just wondering, since you got a first hand look at it. Did he freeze?
Yeah, he may have.
That boy looked frozen. Boy, he frozen.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he knows Sunday coming.
Give him a second to shake out the the cobwebs. I know Charles is just kind of getting into the office there, so we'll kind of pick it up here. Of course, this is now I think this is the fourth meeting between FAMU and Jackson State in the Orange Blossom Classic. The first two meetings going back as far as 1961 and 1962, in which, ironically, Jackson State won the first contest in 61. FAMU won the second contest in 62. And here we come back 40, 60 years later. Go ahead, finish up with you. I don't know if you heard the question, Charles, from Kelvin.
Yeah, Kelvin, if you could repeat it again, I lost you.
Yeah. It was centered around all the different things that Dion is doing with the programs just in the last year, with adding the consultants who got NFL experience, the coaching staff, even brought in a new coordinator, have an infusion of talent. So just talk about that whole transition from what a program was prior to Dion, and the things with the crowds, and just every element. He's so detailed in every element of his program, and just talk about what is, from your view, what it's been like to see that transition from where y'all were to where you are now.
It's been tremendous to watch. The thing that I think I start with this: the crowds have never gone anywhere. The crowds are a culture that is part of Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson State football is it's what you go to do on Saturdays in Jackson. So the crowd part was there, but Coach Prime has instilled this mindset of dominance, and along with dominance comes swagger. So what you are seeing is the swagger of the old Jackson State, the swagger of the Jackson State in the 80s and the 90s that has come back to this program. And I think that's the biggest thing that really jumps out with regards to what he's done with this program. It is a mindset shift in terms of becoming the Jackson State that we once were. So it's been huge, and it was a tough, 5-6 years or so to kind of watch what Jackson State football had become, and to see it do this 180 has been nothing short of remarkable.
Yeah, we definitely can relate to it here in Tallahassee too.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kofi.
Man, so I've got so many ties to Jackson. Jackson was where I spent a lot of my summers with my cousins over there on Hanging Moss Circle. 411 Hanging Moss Circle was right where we used to be.
That's not far from me in North Jackson. That's not far from me over in North Jackson.
My cousins went to Callaway High School. They were Callaway Chargers. I participated in their little summer band program. Ira Vaughn was the drum major at the time. And,
legendary.
Yeah. So, but, back then he was still in high school, and they would just do the whole get ready thing and that sort of thing. But my thing is, they be doing their little thing. But really right now, in terms of what needs to happen for our HBCUs to really take the next step. I know Charles McClellan has talked about this comprehensive plan to one day transition to the FBS level, and he wants to do that together. But what's the reality of where we are now, and what do we need to do comprehensively to get to the FBS level?
I think the $1 million question is your infrastructure in place? Are you ready for what all FBS encompasses? That's an HBCU wide thing. Are your athletic administrations fully ready to be all in with regards to everything that it means to be FBS? In a lot of ways, right now, I think Coach Prime says that the same things that you shed a light on that are the positive, well, that light will be shown on the negative as well. So I always ask the $1 million question: is are we all ready to actually do this? I know it's something that Commissioner McClellan wants to see happen, and it's something that I do think can happen. But from a mindset standpoint, our athletic administrations, from our our top down, from the president to the athletic administrator, they have to be ready for this move. They have to be ready to move forward in a progressive manner and to think in a progressive manner.
Thank you.
Hey, do you? I know one of the things Coach Prime has talked about, doing better business. How we do business. I heard him say we have to be different. How has he impacted the athletic department from that standpoint? I mean, you all can look at and see the issues that Florida A&M is dealing with today. And there have been other schools in the SWAC that have dealt with administrative issues and athletic issues, whether it be Southern University or Grambling. They have all had issues over the past 20 years. What has he done, or how has he changed the mindset of how business is done at Jackson State?
That's a great question, because I think it's one part common sense, and then it's one part thinking outside the box. He is a brilliant uh, uh, business mind, from a standpoint of understanding the brand, understanding the value of the brand, and understanding how to leverage the brand. So I always marvel at the bravado that he takes to the boardroom, if you will, and I think it's something that we all can sit back and kind of take a look at. And a lot of things that he talks about are common sense sorts of things, but maybe it's the delivery or whatever the case might be. But he also thinks outside the box. So I marvel at the way, the duality that he's able to take a common sense approach and yet still think outside the box, and just help us start thinking in a little bit different manner.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
So my next question is centered around the game, but first I want to ask: did you watch FAMU and the UNC game, and just kind of give your thoughts there, and then project based upon what you've seen out of Jackson State? Uh, uh, the strengths, the weaknesses, what you think will play out Sunday between the two teams, what you're looking for.
Well, obviously, I'm looking for a Jackson State win. No doubt about that. But I was extremely impressed by Jeremy Musa. I mean, when you take a look at him, 28 of 39, 279 yards, a couple touchdowns. But the ability to, with I think everything going on, he looked very composed back there, looked very confident back there. I think he hit 10 different receivers, and I was impressed by the go-to man, Xavier Smith. He was able to get the ball in his hands. So I think offensively they look fine. At one point, that game was 21-14, and you had that sort of turnover that really kind of shifted the momentum there before halftime, and depth kind of wore FAMU down, I believe, in the second half. But I was extremely impressed by what I saw from Florida A&M Rattlers. I think one of the things that I'm excited about with Jackson State is the amount of new faces that everybody's going to get an opportunity to see Sunday. I think that's one of the things. Of course, I think as fans, we tend to do two things. We tend to, our last impression of what we saw a team do, that becomes our perception of who they are. And I can tell you guys now that there are a lot of new faces on the offensive line in particular. I know Jackson State fans especially want to hear that part. But there's a lot of new faces along the offensive line. The receiving room reminds you of the Florida A&M teams of the late 90s, with all that speed that we used to marvel that you guys had over there on that side of the ball. But the receiving core is something to behold. And then from a defensive standpoint, I think a lot of people have asked the question, what are you going to do in terms of replacing the production of a James Houston, who had 17 sacks for Jackson State last season? But if you have a defensive line where you have multiple people that can get, 5, 6, 7, potentially 8 sacks, you've replaced that production. So I think there's a lot of excitement with regards to definitely on the offensive side of the ball, receiving room. The new offensive coordinator is excited about getting some of these athletes in space and letting them work in space. And then from a defensive standpoint, Dennis Thurman is, I think, going to do his best to kind of confuse Musa to try to get him uncomfortable back there and let the chips fall where they may.
Go ahead, Kofi.
Man, so what's your prediction though? What you feel like finna happen though? What you feel like finna happen?
The theme has been to dominate, and I think Jackson State will definitely go out to go out and dominate. I think they have this extreme chip on their shoulder, this boulder. They've heard everyone talk about them since the Celebration Bowl, and you take your hats off to South Carolina State. They did what they had to do in the Celebration Bowl. They took 3 turnovers from Jackson State in their own territory, and they converted. And that was something that the SWAC had not done. No team in the SWAC had scored more than 21 points on Jackson State until that game. So you take your hats off to South Carolina State. So I think there's a lot of excitement with regards to going up against this FAMU team, and all the speed that I've seen in camp to actually see it go against an opponent. I'm expecting good things for Jackson State.
What percentage would you give us as in regards to Travis Hunter? What percentage? 100% likely to play, 50, 75, as much as you could share. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. I think you'll see Travis Hunter. Yeah, you need a percentage.
Okay.
The percentage is. I think the percentage
I don't even know what. I don't even know why he even asked that question.
Look, some questions you have to ask.
It's showtime. You know he's gonna be there.
People in the chat room. Well, percentage, I think there's a better than average chance. How about that? I like that.
Okay, so better 51% or better. Now, okay, so see, people in the chat room react. So 51% or better likelihood you're gonna see Travis Hunter.
I like the likelihood that you're gonna see it.
51% or better. Look, I like that. That's what you can write that all weekend, Charles. Everyone asks you, just say a likelihood 51% or better. Hey, I remember a couple of names that came out of the first meeting, and I'm going to ask you to give us some names to watch. I remember Niles Gaddy from the first game, ridiculous all over the place. I remember Shiloh was a name. 2 names that stand out from me from the first game that maybe people talked about, but we really didn't know what we were going to see, but they just really blossomed. Give us a couple of names, maybe on the offensive side and the defense, that you expect us to know after Sunday's game.
Oh, no doubt. I think you'll know Shane Hooks, 6'4", 220-pound receiver on the outside. I think you're going to know Malachi Wyden. I think you're definitely going to know those 2 names. Defensively, you mentioned Niles Gaddy. The work that he's put in over the summer, his body has transformed. So I'm really excited about Niles coming off the edge. And I think Aubrey Miller is another name that you're going to become well acquainted with. He just flies all over the place from his middle linebacker position. He's a hitter. He's looking forward to getting out there. And then John Huggins is another guy that I think you're going to be well acquainted with. And then from a special team standpoint, you can't forget the special teams of Jackson State. That has been a calling card. That's been a hallmark of what they've done over the 21 season. And I think that's going to be huge for Jackson State in this game.
All right. Last question for you, Charles. Jackson State. No, hold on. Let me rephrase this. FAMU will win this game if they do what? Or this?
I think with anyone, not just FAMU, but you have to create turnovers. I think that's the name of the game, is to try to create some turnovers. But I think that's one of those things that Coach Prime has, the standard is the standard. You protect the football, and that is, going to be something that a hurdle that I think any team is going to have to overcome in terms of trying to create turnovers for this team. But, any given day, I think that's the name of the game with sports. You try to create turnovers. You try to create extra possessions for yourself. So a nice, fun question. What does FAMU have to do? I think it's what any team has to do. I think any team that Jackson State plays this season, they have to try to create some turnovers and create some extra offensive opportunities for themselves.
Well, so see, guys, that's a professional. See, I'm trying to find ways to get him to admit certain
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
and he
He
looks
the
like
body
Walter
play.
Payton out there
Hey, hey,
dancing, dodging, spinning out of question.
hey, hey. So
That was a
you
nice
need to let
question. I
me
have to say
antagonize
that.
him a little more. You know, we ain't talking enough trash today.
You know what? I think the fun part, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys down there in Miami. But you know, Jackson State, we love to banter with our opponents. That is what we do.
Exactly.
That's the fun part. Everybody wants to banter with Jackson State fans. So.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, I don't know if I can go another 365, Charles. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. I'm gonna wish you and Neely and the rest of the pregame show safe travels, and Jackson State wishing them safe travels, and we hoping that everything in Jackson, Mississippi, gets better. I said this
Sure.
coming in at the beginning of the show. We got a game where both teams are kind of coming in with other things other than football on their mind. So, it's
Yeah.
kind of interesting asking players and coaches to really think about a game while other things are going on in their around
Yeah.
them. But so that's sort of what we got in front of us. So proper perspective, but we'll keep.
Yeah. And likewise, from a Jackson State perspective, I mean, at the end of the day, we're opponents on Sunday, but we're one big HBCU community. So we definitely send thoughts and prayers with regards to FAMU being able to work through their crisis, if you will. And we're confident in due time those things will take care of themselves.
Amen. Because we're hoping that everybody is at full strength, able to play at their best. Because we don't want to hear, we don't want any excuses after Sunday. We want the best versus the best, and I think it'll be a great contest if we get that. But all right, so Charles, you safe travels down to Florida, and appreciate you coming on and joining us tonight. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, for sure. That's Charles Bishop from the Pregame Show. Let's take a quick break, come back, finish the show. I know producer Mel's like, damn. Yes, we got to finish the show off with picks, predictions, other games from the SWAC in week 1, and then give our final analysis, final take on FAMU Jackson State on Sunday. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Let's get back to getting ticks instead of watching flicks. Before we can safely get out there, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your crew.
Into these colleges, and we have to fund our kids in these colleges, and we have to make sure our kids have seats in these colleges.
Now, what about HBCUs? You mentioned
absolutely. You got to fund them all, and you got to make sure they're properly funded. The real reason why I went after Comcast and Charter, it didn't have anything to do with my cable networks. It didn't. What happened was a gentleman wanted to do the Black College Sports Network in partnership with the HBCUs, and Comcast did not accept it, and that would have made a lot of money for these black colleges.
Absolutely.
And it would have educated the Black College Sports Network. This is what he wanted to do. That would have educated a lot of black kids. And when they didn't do that, that's when I came off the bench and said, okay, I'm going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Okay? That was the real reason why I got into it, was when I saw what happened with the Black College Sports Network, which I don't own. I just knew.
Why didn't you buy it?
I just knew. I just knew that these black.
I like that talk.
Right? I knew that these black colleges were going to benefit, and these black kids were going to get the education that they deserved and not have to pay. And that.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food? Like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
Oh, we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, Kofi. Want to thank Charles Bishop from the Pregame Show for joining us, giving us some of the perspective of this contest, this Orange Blossom Classic from the Jackson State side of things. Something we like to try to do on these shows, especially going in to games. Try to get some thoughts, give Rattler Nation some thoughts from the other side to kind of hear what's going on over there. All right, so it's picks time. It's time for us to go through some picks. We're going to go through SWAC picks before we get to the FAMU Jackson State picks. So you guys in the chat rooms or wherever you're at, jump in here with us. We're going to start with the 2 Thursday night games involving SWAC teams. We've got Alabama A&M traveling to UAB. That should be an interesting contest. Alabama A&M not far away from UAB. And then we've also got Mississippi Valley State, who was 4-6 a year ago, traveling to Tarleton State. Tarleton State, new to the FCS, but had put up some good record in Division II, I believe is where they're coming from. So what do you got in those two games, Kelvin? Then I'll go to Kofi.
I believe these are tough matchups. I believe that the SWAC teams can make them competitive than what maybe the experts say. Alabama A&M, my concern is that they have so many new pieces, and to start off with an opponent like Alabama Birmingham, who was a bowl team, if those new pieces perform, this game could be a little bit interesting. But I'm going with UAB, and then I'm going with Tarleton. I think they're out of the state of Texas, if I'm not mistaken. They got players.
Kofi,
that
what
they got
about
to show
you?
me that they can score points.
There you
go. So I got sniped right when you were giving the second game. I know the first one is Alabama A&M and UAB.
Yep.
As Kelvin
Mississippi
stated,
Valley State at Tarleton State is the second game.
Okay. So I'm gonna go. I want Alabama A&M to perform well, but as Kelvin stated, it takes a little time. But that was one of my dark horse picks for a possible upset. And I stand by that. I don't think that Alabama A&M is going to win the game, but I do think that they're going to definitely. You'll definitely see a difference in their performance, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But UAB should probably win that game by 21. Same with Mississippi Valley. They have a lot of new pieces, and they're always a really, really rugged and tough team. But I'm going to say Tarleton. I would say Tarleton.
Okay. Both of those games are 8 p.m. Eastern. CBS Network is carrying the A&M UAB game. ESPN Plus has Valley Tarleton State. On Saturday, Bethune is traveling to take on the U on the ACC Network. Do you give them a chance? I think the line is something like 30-something points, 35 points. Any chance Bethune covers?
Yes.
No.
Oh, you
Yes.
think
No.
Bethune covers? Okay, so I got 1 no, 1 yes. All right, on the cover. That's interesting. All right. That game is at 3:30 Eastern on ACC. Grambling State, the Hugh Jackson era, traveling to FBS, but low record Arkansas State. That's a 7 Eastern on ESPN3. What's happening? Grambling State, can they get a win on the road? Does the Hugh Jackson era start with a win? Kofi.
It's a very tough opponent to be to season with. But if Grambling can run the ball, they can do it. But if I'm betting my life on it, I'm going with Arkansas State.
Always go with betting your life. I love that. Kelvin.
I'm going with Arkansas State reluctantly. This is one of those games where I think if Grambling play up to par, if they got good quarterback play, I think they can pull this one out. But it's on the road, first game. I got to go with Arkansas State till I see something different.
Okay. Alabama State off their MEAC SWAC Challenge win over Howard. Now they take on in-state opponent Miles College. I don't know if you call them a rival or not, but
It is.
Miles College nearly beat Bama State a year ago. Now, different coaches on both sides of the ball for these two programs. I think it was a 14-13 game. You saw Bama State against Howard. Miles is starting their season. What do you say, Kelvin? Can Bama State keep the winning ways, or does Miles find a way to pull the upset?
Bama State need to be careful. I need to know that they can handle success. This is a game they should win. And their quarterback is a difference maker for their offense. So I expect them to even look better this game. So I'm going with Bama State. But they got to have the right mindset. They got to handle success.
Kofi, I saw you shaking your head. What would you say?
Bama State going to beat Miles. They're not going to let Eddie Robinson get fired right after the game. Lose to Miles.
Right. Wow.
Like, bro, why we hired you, dog? Go back to real estate.
Yeah,
Go back to real estate.
Yeah.
No, you better not lose. And if it's now, I will say this: if Ruffin was still the coach at Miles,
oh yeah, that'd be
my pick would be different. But the mere fact they got all that transition as well, Bama State has a game under their belt. They're gonna play better this week than they did last week, and yeah, they're gonna win.
Okay, now this is an interesting one. A SWAC team hosting Alcorn State, hosting Stephen F. Austin. Of course, we saw Stephen F. Austin get smoked by Jacksonville State last week. I personally is one of my big picks. I got Alcorn State winning this contest at home. What do you think? How does this go, Kofi? Alcorn State get a win for the SWAC versus an FCS PWI.
We need this win. That's my mama's school, so I'm gonna go with the coin. I'm going with Alcorn.
All right, go ahead, Kelvin.
Don't let me down, Alcorn, because I sure didn't want to do it, but I'm Mama went to that school, and if she watching, I want her to know that I picked her school. All right.
There you go.
So that ain't gonna mean nothing on Saturday, right? So this is a game that Alcorn should have a chance to win. I don't take too much away from Stephen F. Austin in terms of their loss to Jacksonville State. They got Rich Rodriguez as a coach. They beat Florida State last year. Jacksonville State is a very talented team. They go in FBS for a reason.
Right.
That Alcorn State ain't Jacksonville State. So, but Alcorn State being at home should give them the opportunity. But until I see it, Stephen F. Austin got a game under their belt. Alcorn got a lot of new pieces and new coaches. I'm going with Stephen F. Austin.
All right, Alcorn State got to win that one for the culture. That's one game we
Please.
got to get this one for the culture. We need that one. Okay. One of course, this is the other SWAC matchup. There's only two in week one.
Prairie View.
Texas Southern is traveling to Prairie View A&M. in the annual Labor Day Classic. What's your thoughts on this one, Kelvin? Who you got, Texas Southern or Prairie View?
I'm hedging on this one, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you what the difference for me. If Andrew Body is who we say he is, he got to win this game. Well, I ain't going with Texas Southern no more this year.
Okay. All right.
So I'm only picking Texas Southern because of Andrew Body. So
There you go.
he got to produce.
Okay. Kofi?
I love the Body family. I love Andrew Body, but Prairie View is the defending SWAC West champs, and I'm gonna go with Prairie View until they show that they are totally dysfunctional and everything. But I'm gonna go with Prairie View. That game wasn't all that close last year.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I think in the preseason, back around media day, I was picking Texas Southern, and then after listening to Dr. Cavill the other day, I think I picked Prairie View because I something that game is at Prairie View again, and Prairie View
got a new
has a lot of.
staff. Prairie View got a lot of
It's not
turnovers.
entirely new. It's not. Bubba
I love
McDowell was
I
there on
love
the staff. They got 8 returners on offense, 8 returners on defense. I'm telling you, it's not as new as it's
I
not as
love
new
the
as
Body
people think.
Hey, man,
family. I love
see.
all of them. My boy need to play
Look,
well.
She's Mrs. Body said no, Kofi. She's in there. She thank you for joining us.
If TSU wins, I will wear a TSU shirt.
There you go. All right, we'll see. And then Kelvin will keep picking TSU. So a lot of incentives there for TSU to win that ball game. All right, here we go. Getting right into it here. FAMU, Jackson State. Game, I don't know, 7-6 was the score a year ago. Game of the year right off the bat. Determined who won the SWAC. Determined who went to the Celebration Bowl. All we know what's at stake. Factors to the game. But we all know why. We all believe FAMU will win this game. But let's quickly talk about the reasons why. What we expect to see. Kelvin, go.
I'm stick with FAMU. FAMU got a game under their belt. We're extremely talented. I heard Charles talk about all the guys that they have and so forth, and we've seen the clippings and so forth. Got a new coordinator. I'm sure that they're confident. First of all, the game ain't gonna be 7-6. It's gonna be a high scoring game. I think it's possible both teams might get 30. When you add turnovers and improve special teams play. I hope Willie Simmons does not kick to their return team. I hope we kick the ball out of bounds and make them drive the field personally, because that do scare me. And likewise, but we're dangerous. They're no more talented than we are. Hopefully, we'll get our guys back. I think it'll be a competitive game. I will not be surprised. Here's my big reveal. I will be not. I would not be surprised if one of the teams, either team, end up winning by double digits because of turnovers. But I'm going FAMU. I'm going FAMU 30-24.
Okay, Kofi.
I'm going FAMU by 10. FAMU by 10. I think the difference is going to be the first game stuff. I'm not saying I know Jackson State's gonna come out with a ton of energy, but both coaches have been watching each other's film the entire summer. Obviously, in terms of tendencies, play calls, they had an opportunity to watch us last week. We're going into a situation where we're not exactly sure what to expect from their offense unless we've watched their offense coordinator call other games from other tapes. So, but I believe that this is definitely going to be, especially FAMU. I look for FAMU to establish the run game, and I'm looking for this to be a FAMU victory.
I thought back the last 2 times that Coach Simmons has played Jackson State. They have gone down to the wire.
All the games
We have
against
come up.
Jackson State go down to the darn wire, except for when we win. And when we win, it's not close. So, again, we don't win. Technically, if you just look back over the history of this series, that game is always close. It always comes down to the last possible seconds, unless FAMU wins the game. And I'm predicting FAMU to win, and I'm predicting FAMU by 10.
Okay. So what I was saying is it was the late the 2018 game in Bragg where we had the ball on like the
I don't want to talk
5-yard
about
line.
that game. Please talk about something else. Get another call. Talk about something else. Don't even bring that game up. We ain't talking about it.
I can't finish my
We already
setup.
know what happened. We know what happened.
There might be somebody who doesn't know.
We don't want them to know.
Kelvin.
I don't want that energy.
Kelvin.
I don't need that energy around me. I don't want to talk about that game.
Hey, finish your thought, man. Because Mel,
that's all right. I'll tell it. Then see, with that, I'm going to wrap up the segment then with a score. You guys are predicting high numbers. I don't know about all that. I'm gonna go 24-17. 24-17. Final score: FAMU 24, Jackson State 17. All right. We will all be at the Orange Blossom Classic. We will probably do a post-game show somehow, some way. We will do a post-game, somehow, some way. I don't know how, but we'll figure it out. And so be prepared and look for us giving a live reaction, regardless of the outcome. We'll give it to you live from the Hard Rock Stadium, as Kelvin, Kofi, and myself will be in attendance. We hope to see all of you. Quick prediction: plus or minus 50,000 people, over or under 50,000 people.
I'm not convinced that they have engaged the city the way that they could and should have just yet. Miami's a very finicky town. I'm going to say this is going to be around about the same that it was last year. It's going to be under 50,000.
Kelvin,
it shouldn't be, but it's going to be.
All right.
I predict the same thing. Now, if the weather is pretty good, we might get close. But I'm gonna predict about 40.
All right. 40.
That would be a win.
Hopefully.
That would be huge.
That'll be a win. Okay. All right.
That'll be a win.
We'll see what happens. So everyone pay attention to that. Want to encourage you again, continue to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll continue to provide information as it comes out regarding what's going on with the compliance. Already I saw Coach Simmons had said that 6 or 7 guys had already been cleared. So we're only down to about maybe 16 or 17 guys that right now are not eligible. I have not seen those names, so I don't know who of the 6 and 7 are back yet. Maybe that'll come out tonight. Make sure you're following us on social media and you'll get that information. Obviously, if you're not following us, I'm sure you're following somebody related to, but we'll tweet that out. Again, Friday, Emergency Board of Trustees meeting. That will be streamed live, so you can watch it on Zoom. But I suggest if you want to make your voice heard, you better send your emails tonight and tomorrow. Send your emails. Flood the inboxes of the Board of Trustees. Let them know how you truly feel about what is happening. Put that on their mind as they go into that meeting. We'll find out more. We'll all watch it together. Don't expect much, so don't get all disappointed and up in your feelings. Let's be surprised. Well, I don't want to say that because, God, if I say that, we might have a new AD coming out of that meeting if we say let's be surprised. And who knows? That would be a surprise. That would be the surprise of the day right there. So we'll see as Kelvin and Kofi get their paddles and belts ready. You guys, we want to appreciate you for watching, tuning in. Thanks to Charles Bishop again for joining us. Thanks to you for continuing to support our show, continuing to watch what we do. You can always donate to the show. Go to our Twitter feed at ONG Strike Zone.
Tell them
profile,
Tell
right?
them don't move.
You bet not.
Profiled right at the top of the page. At the top of the page, the donation button. We'd appreciate you donating to the show.
I told you not to move.
BCSN Pod Zone is where you can listen and download podcasts of this show and others on the Black College Sports Network. We appreciate you watching. Thank you to producer Mel for hanging in there. We have got to go. Rattler Nation, let's make sure you go to South Florida. Be strong, strike hard, and let's go. Let's make sure, Rattler Nation, that we strike, and strike again. Good night, everybody.